Welcome to Red Zone DFS Week 1, baby. NFL is here. We just finished up watching the Rams get
Let's
absolutely
go.
fucking pummeled by the Bills. How you guys doing? How we feeling? Vinny, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. I got yelled at halftime to go and clean up the dog shit out in the backyard. And so I sprinted out there with no shoes on. And the second step went right in a big old mountain. So wasn't the most positive start to the second half, but I obviously didn't miss much with the way the Bills
were you barefoot? Did it go in between your toes?
Oh, yeah, I was barefoot. It was not good.
Ooh. Well, that was it. It was a nice juicy one, or was it like semi-hard already?
Yeah, dude, it was nice and juicy. It's 111 here, so yes, it was just baking in the sun all day.
Keeps them nice and moist, eh?
Yeah, not positive.
Nice.
Well,
very good, very good.
Outside of that, I'm good.
All right, guys, we got Week 1. We got
Cheers
a big slate. We got every team playing except for the Rams, the Bills, and our Monday night matchups. So let's get right into it. We're going to go into our quarterbacks, high, mid, low, snake style, like we always do. Jimmy, I'm going to let you lead off with the quarterbacks here. Who do you got at the top?
I'm going right back to kind of what we talked about in the preview at the very top of the board. I'm not going to complicate it. I'm going to play Mahomes, and I'm going to play Kelsey with him. And I'm going to play MVS, and that's going to be my chief stack. And, I just – there's other guys up there, but I think a lot of people are going to try and get cute with quarterback this week. There's so much value elsewhere that, like, at running back and quarterback and tight end, I have just decided that, like, that's not where I'm going to hunt for value this week. I'm just going to go for – the sure guys. They're playing Arizona, who I think is kind of a tire fire. They certainly don't have as good a defense as the Rams. And we saw what just happened to the Rams against a very high-powered offense at home. So, yeah, Patty Mahomes, I mean, it's not a sexy pick. It's not like a groundbreaking pick, but up high, like that's where I'm going.
No, it's a smart pick. I mean, the Chiefs offense, everyone's going, oh, no Tyreek Hill. What are they going to do? I think we're going to see a revamped offense. I think we're going to see some different things happening. They're not going to be going over the top as much. You're going to see a different side of Mahomes. And I think it's going to put Arizona in a bind that already has a bad defense. I think Mahomes is a great pick, Jim. Vinny, where are you going?
Yeah, I'm with you. I like him a lot this week. I'm just going to go down $100 as well. I think my favorite stack of the day is the Chargers. Looking at ownership, I mean, I don't know what's going on here. I've looked at two different sites, and they are just getting overlooked, it seems like. Herbert at 7,600. Dude, he has the most potential upside on the slate. You've got Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, both coming in, at least for me, under 10%, and Austin Eckler right at 10%. So I think the Raiders are just really susceptible through the pass. I know they're building that thing out there, but I mean, Herbert's pretty unstoppable no matter who he's playing against, and you get a soft matchup defensively. So, I think the Raiders can keep it kind of close as well. So I like this to shoot out quite a bit. But Herbert is my top stack.
No, it's a great pick. And if I'm going to lean on a stack there, it's going to be Keenan Allen getting all those catches underneath. I can see Keenan Allen getting 12-plus catches. I mean,
doesn't he always just dominate the Raiders too?
Yeah, and the Raiders, like the one strong thing they have is their free safety and Trevin Moehrig, right, going over the stopping plays over the top, which is going to be Mike Williams. I'm not saying Mike Williams isn't going to get a couple big catches, but Keenan Allen's more the safe play in that stack, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I just think there's a lot of different ways you can go. Like I said, you can mix in Eckler, you can mix in Josh Palmer. Like there's you want to get real weird, Gerald Everett's there. Like, there's just a lot of different ways, similar to the Chiefs, that you can get weird with it if you want.
I like it.
Yeah. Joe?
All right. Yeah, I'm going with Aaron Ayahuasca Rogers. So I don't. What's his ownership looking like? Because I don't think people are going to be all about him.
He's like sub 5.
No Devontae Adams, right? You can get really creative with those
3%.
stacks, right? A lot of shots in the dark. Definitely a lot of good GPP plays with those receivers. Lazard, Dubes. I mean, Tanyan might even play this week as a great red zone threat that nobody's going to be on. I mean, he's practicing. So if he's a full go, Rodgers to Tanyan for a red zone threat. You can go Rodgers with Aaron Jones. I mean, there's a lot of different combinations you can do. And the Vikings suck. The Vikings defense is really, really bad.
Their defense
and I see this
sucks,
game shooting out as well. Just Rodgers going full Madden mode in the third and fourth quarter and just throwing it up. So I think Rodgers is 300-plus game, maybe 4 touchdowns.
No one's going to be on that passing game for Green Bay. So I think it's a really sneaky play.
Yeah, I definitely, Joey. I'm with you on that one. He's got one of the he's like 2 to 3% looking at ownership right now. So I mean, I don't agree with the projection either that I'm seeing around on some different sites. Minnesota's defense is nothing special.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's going to have to be the Aaron Rodgers show. So I mean, I really, really like that play.
Yep.
All right, going below 7K into that mid-range, Jim.
So the mid-range is kind of a weird one for me this week. Once I kind of took a look at it some more, I don't know if there's anybody that I'm going to play in this mid-range. If I had to pick one person, I would probably pick Trey Lance, just because it looks like it's going to be a little bit rainy. I think that they're going to run the ball. I don't think he's going to have a very big passing game, but I think he could have one of those games where he throws 2 touchdowns and then runs 2 in. And then, I mean, just in touchdown points, you're at 24 points right there, right? So, I mean, I think if I had to pick in the mid-range, Trey would be my guy, but I'm really not interested in playing anyone until we get down further into like the low to mid 5s. What about you guys?
Then,
yeah, I mean, I was on Burrow earlier this week, and obviously I still like the receivers as one-offs, but looking at what he did versus them last year, like they still won the game, but like he didn't absolutely blow them out. And I think the Steelers have had all offseason to plan for this. They saw him twice last year. You've got TJ Watt, their linebacker core is good. I know the DBs aren't super solid, but Minkah Fitzpatrick is back there. I just think this game could be a little bit muddier than people think, like not necessarily a shootout.
Yeah.
So if I'm going into the mid-range, my guy is Kirk Cousins. I just think Cousins at home. I'm hoping Rodgers, kind of pushes the ball a little bit. They don't just rely on the run game and defense here, but new offensive coordinator, they're going to want to flex a little bit, I think. And I like Cousins down here at 6,100. It's my second favorite, man.
Yeah, no, Cousins is definitely my favorite in that mid-range area there. I want to talk about Jalen Hurts just because I was on him a few weeks ago in our pod. Apparently the rest of the world is too. And, people have the Eagles winning the Super Bowl this year, right? So he's going to go 23% plus. It's a little bit scary. I feel like I need to have one lineup with him in case he does go absolutely berserk and the Lions are just being the Lions because his ownership's going to be so high and I don't want to have any lineups without him.
Well,
right?
I think
what if he does go 35 plus and he's top Q?
So to your point, I am going to play some Hurts, but I'm going to do things that most people won't do, which is stack him with 2 other guys, right? Most people are just going to play Hurts by himself, or maybe they'll play Hurts with Devontae Smith or one of whoever else, right? I don't think a lot of people will choose to go ahead and stack Hurts with Smith and Brown or Hurts with one of those receivers and Goddard. And when I play him, that's what I'm going to do. I think that this game could get into a little bit sneaky of a shootout. I think Detroit's offense is a lot better than their defense is. I mean, you take a look at Hard Knocks. There was multiple guys who made the Detroit Lions that were drafted in the 5th, 6th, and 7th round, and that are gonna play key parts on their defense. Which it's a great story, great for them. But in the NFL, Week 1 in a dome on a fast track with a really pretty prolific offense, that could get pretty dicey. I don't think Philly's got the greatest defense in the world either. And Week 1 is just you're gonna blow assignments. There's guys who haven't played a bunch. So I think if you're going to play Hurts, you just have to go all in and go 3 Philly guys and 2 Detroit guys and just game stack it. And I think that's how you're going to get different.
I agree with you.
I always think Hurts is better when I know he's going to be down. right? Because those fourth quarters when he's running on prevent defenses and he's going to get 50-plus yards in the fourth quarter, I just think they might blow out the Lions early.
Yeah.
And the Philly,
That's my
their
fear.
identity wants to be the run, right? So if they get up early, they're just going to run the ball every play.
I think Philly's going to be really good this year. And that's my fear too, is they come out and just blast Detroit. Nobody's talking about that because of, again, the hard knock story and the feel good story. But I think it's a very clear path where Philly just comes out and blows these guys away. And what scares me is like Hurts, if you stack the game, I'm with you, Jim. I think that's the path. If you're going to do it, you got to go all in. But he could very easily like run 2 touchdowns in. They run another touchdown in, and then you have like A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith or Goddard, and like those guys are finishing with like 9 points, 11 points, and it's like they still dominate, but there's so many different paths for that versus like with the running ability like Lamar, right? It's like it's going Lamar or Mark Andrews, and that's pretty much your path to winning that game, right? So that's my concern with Hurts.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think it's a bad play, but it's just hard to predict. Like,
week 1, I just don't think that you're going to see Jalen Hurts running a whole bunch.
Yeah,
right?
That's a big negative.
I just don't think that you're going to see him like designed runs. Like they're going to save that for games that they need it, and they don't need it versus Detroit, right?
I don't think so.
They want to work A.J. Brown into the offense. Yes, they're going to want to run the ball, but if they're up, if this was like week 11, I would totally agree with you. But you saw in this game tonight, if you look, the Bills had that game in hand. They were still running Josh Allen. They were still throwing the ball down the field. I mean, they were up by 17 points, right?
Yeah.
These guys haven't really played a whole lot. So in order to get some cohesiveness into the offense, they're going to go pretty hard with their foot on the gas until 10 minutes left in the fourth.
I think they smack them. It's just I think you're playing, Russian roulette a little bit with like who it's going to be doing the damage with Jalen Hurts. You know what I mean?
I agree. Well, I mean that's the. But if you are able to hit, we're talking about GPPs, right? Like
100%.
If you're able to hit, then
totally
that could be the path to win.
No, for sure. I think you definitely can take some chances with him and have yourself a really good freaking day. So
if we're going all the way down, is there anybody else down here that you guys are interested in? Because I almost want to play
some Derek Carr just because of the game flow. I think it's gonna, but the problem is I don't know what this offense is gonna look like with McDaniels coming over. I don't know if they're gonna be running 3 running backs, who the receivers are gonna be. Does Renfrow even get any play in this offense like he did with Gruden? There's too many question marks, and I'm just going to wait to play any Carr this year, even if his salary goes up. And the max it's ever going to go up is 65, right? Carr's never going to get above that 6,500 range. So I'm just going to wait on Carr, even though I'm definitely interested to see what the hell happens over there.
Sure.
Yeah. The one guy that I have interest in down in the 5K range, down a little bit lower, I will have some Jameis. I like the roller coaster with him. I like the fact I don't even care if he throws multiple picks, right? That almost helps it because it's like, let's keep this game a little close. I also looked up last year. I know Sean Payton's not there and everything, but both Saints-Falcons games went over 50 points last year. So
to note, though, it's the same offensive coordinator. So Carmichael's been Peyton's offensive coordinator this entire time. I know Peyton's been running the show, but it is the same guy. It's going to be the same style. I mean, not much is going to change.
And Jameis looked good last year before the injury. He's got more weapons on the field this year. Like, I like it, man. And I think it's similar. Like, you can kind of mix and match and go Kamara with Michael Thomas. You can go, Michael Thomas and Olave. You can go Olave and Jarvis Landry if you want to fade. Slant boy. Like, there's a lot of different things you can do there. But I think Jameis he's going to make games way more interesting than they should be. And like, this is a perfect example of that. Week 1, like he could throw 2 pick-6s, but like 4 touchdowns, which
he's a stat machine, dude. Yeah, he's like Brett Favre. I love playing him in fantasy.
Yeah.
Jim, who's the guy you're eyeing down here?
Well, I think that, obviously we talked about the Philly game. I think that if we're really high on that game of being kind of a shootout, I think Goff is a good way to go. just because the offense is pretty concentrated right now. If you wanted to pick 2 receivers, I actually think DJ Chark might be a little bit of a sneaky play downfield for some bigger plays. I think that I'm going to take a shot in at least one lineup and play some Daniel Jones. At $5,000, I don't need a whole lot out of him. But he's got the running upside that he can get me 20 points, 22 points. And at $5,000, if he can get me there, I'm cool with that. He's a guy that you can kind of play. I like to do the kind of the non-traditional thing of playing a quarterback with a running back that catches passes. So I'm interested in playing Daniel Jones with Saquon Barkley. It's not going to be a popular play by any means, but it's something in some of the larger field single entries that I'm definitely going to try this week just because of the price point.
Yeah, and that offense is still a 2-man show. It's Jones and Barkley, and there's not anything else going on. So that's a perfect stack, even if they don't correlate together.
Yeah, I mean,
they're getting all the points.
Right now, I have no idea which receiver. It could be Kadarius Toney if he's healthy. I like that. Wan'Dale Robinson, who knows? Is Sterling Shepard going to be healthy? Is Kenny Golladay going to be on the field? Can he catch the ball? I'll just go with if I'm going to take a risk and play Daniel Jones, I'll just play him with Saquon and then kind of get weird elsewhere.
All right. I mean, that covers it for me for quarterbacks. There's no one else on GPP side that I want to talk about. So
the only guy I'm going to mention is I will have some bringbacks. We talked about Mahomes. I'll have some Kyler for sure. I just think he's going to be running and gunning the whole time, man.
If Rondale Moore does not play, I'm not playing Kyler.
I don't mind it at all. He could run for 150 yards on Sunday. Kyler could. You know what I mean? He's going to be chasing.
See, I think that Chiefs defense. That Chiefs defense has improved this year.
You have no D-Hop.
So
you have maybe no Rondale Moore, and Zach Ertz is questionable.
For sure, I'm just going to pair him as skinny.
So even with those 3 guys, you don't want to play him? You still want to play him?
I'm going to just pair him up with Hollywood, and I have no problem, and I'll bring it back with multiple Chiefs because I do think that game goes bananas, man.
I would rather just play Hollywood and a bring back of the Chiefs stack.
For sure. You could for sure do that. But I'm going to have some of them because, again, I think his rushing upside, we talked about it early in the year, chasing that little bastard around the field is just impossible. I'm going to have some Kyler on Sunday.
All right.
That's all.
Let's move on to running backs.
Whew.
Vinny, I'll let you lead this one off at the top.
I'm going to have all the 3 main guys up top. I'm going to have shares of all of them. But I think if I had to put my foot in the ground on one, it's going to be McCaffrey. Dude, he's just that. He's what makes that whole offense go. We talked about it on the preview show. Carolina's ass is on fire. If this coach doesn't get off to a good start, he's a goner. He's just going to be the bell cow. He's going to get a ton of receiving. He's going to get a ton of rushing. Early in the year when he's healthy, I'm going to chalk him up until he gets banged up.
Yeah, Matt Rule needs to give him the ball 35 plus times or else he's losing his job.
Matt Rule.
Yeah. Dude, if they go into halftime and they're trailing to Jacoby Brissett and the Browns, talk's going to pick up. You know what I mean? Twitter is going to be on fire to let this guy go. So, yeah, I'm just going to ride McCaffrey in a ton of lineups, but I will have some of the other guys. So I'll let you guys kind of dive in.
I'm a little hesitant on Jonathan Taylor. I'm obviously going to have a little bit of him. You can't go without him. I just don't feel like they're going to need him to carry the ball more than 15 times in this game. And they're going to go Naheem Hines. They're going to let Matt Ryan do some play action. Or Jonathan Taylor gets 15, 20 carries and he busts for 3 touchdowns and breaks a few, right? And you need to be a part of that. So, you got to tell yourself a story. But I'm going to have some Jonathan Taylor, but he's not my favorite. I would say my favorite up in the top 4 there is Austin Eckler, if we're not going to talk McCaffrey. Eckler is McCaffrey. He's a twin. Right, he does all the same things. He's the same type of offense. He's going to get the catches out of the backfield. He's going to run the ball. He is the focal point of that offense. And when Eckler's not in, that Chargers offense completely changes.
He's 100%. Also going to be only half the ownership of those guys.
Yep. No one's going to want to play
PPR, it's way too high. And he gets the ball in the red zone. They don't take him out in short yardage situations. No, it's a big deal. So Eckler's my favorite outside of McCaffrey.
Jim, do you have draw a line at any of these guys?
So I'm full fading Derrick Henry. I'm not playing any Derrick Henry.
Interesting.
It's more of a thing where I think that Derrick Henry seems to come on as the year goes on more and more. And look, we can't play everybody. It could end up just completely fucking me over. But he's just the one guy that has no pass catching ability. They could absolutely kick the shit out of the Giants. And if they're up, 14 points at halftime, he's not going to see any carries in the second half. Like, he's dealing with that foot injury. He's their team, right? And he's the guy that I would much rather just play Austin Eckler. I'm with Joey on that one, and Christian McCaffrey. Those are my two favorite guys if I'm paying up. Or the guy that I really like, if we're just going just under, is Dalvin Cook. He's probably going to be my highest owned player this week. I think that he's going vastly overlooked. Alexander Mattison popped up on the injury report today. He's questionable. He's dealing with some sort of lower body injury. I think that, everyone's so focused on Minnesota's going to come out and, pass the ball over the place with O'Connell and blah, 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 blah. But he just came from the Rams. And if you go back and look, Sean McVay and the Rams last year wanted to run the ball as much as they could. So I think that they're going to lean on that early. I think that they would rather ease Kirk in and not have Kirk have to throw the ball 55 times. So I like that game, but Dalvin Cook is going to be my guy. It's going to be pretty close between him and Eckler, my two highest owned guys. But, Dalvin Cook coming in at sub 5% ownership. A guy that's going to get absolutely basically every touch. Sign me up for that.
Cook is always playing hurt, right? Like, he's one of those guys who gets banged up and he plays through it. Get Dalvin Cook early when he is healthy. Yeah, he is going to get the ball and he's going to make people miss. He's going to have big runs.
I'm a little bit just on the opposite side of that, just simply for matchup purposes. I think I'm just looking at it through the lens of Tennessee lost AJ Brown, the guy they replaced him with, not even going to probably be starting. If he is, Treylon Burks has a lot of question marks. Dude, we thought his volume was good, insane last year, Derrick Henry. He's going to get so many carries here against probably one of the 2 or 3 worst teams in the league. You know what I mean? And
but
it's hard
if we were talking last year, Vinny, and Joe Judge was the head coach, I would probably agree with you. You've got a head coach of Brian Daboll who's going to go over to the defensive side and said, I don't care if you have to put 9 guys in the box. We are not going to let Derrick Henry beat us. It's Brian Daboll's first game. He is going to do everything he can possible to eliminate their number one weapon. And because they lost A.J. Brown, makes it all that much easier, right?
Yeah,
so Ryan Tannehill's now going to have to lean on some of these other guys. There's a guy who we'll talk about it in a different position on Tennessee that I'm going to absolutely hammer. And it's not a wide receiver. Yeah. But that's the point of view. I see your point of view, but there's an actual head coach with brain cells on the other side of the ball now, coaching the Giants. He wants to win his first game. He doesn't want to lose, and he absolutely doesn't want to get embarrassed by Derrick Henry.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit hesitant on Dalvin just because I do have some major respect for the Packers rush defense, in their defense overall.
But their defensive line is their worst. Their run defense is their worst part of their defense.
No, I agree.
They've got the back end.
Really good play. Yeah,
they've got great linebackers. They have great safeties. They've got great corners with Jair Alexander. I actually think that the passing game is going to be a little tough for them. So I think that they're going to try and run the ball to set up some of these big play action shots to Jefferson and stuff. So I get it. It's not going to be a popular play, but with some of the GPPs we're trying to take down, he's a guy I'm willing to take a stab at 4%. Sign me up.
The guy that I'm really hot on this week is Alvin Kamara.
Yeah.
I just think that Saints offense is going to explode, right? And Kamara's got that same effect as Eckler, McCaffrey. He doesn't get the same volume, hence why he's priced a little bit lower.
Yep.
Ingram has got to be a pile of dust at this point in his career.
I do.
I mean, you don't have Sean Payton in love with Taysom Hill on the goal line. right? There's a lot of
We
hopeful
hope- we
things I'm
hope
thinking
not.
here,
We
right?
hope
There's
not.
a lot of hopeful things here. So I'm not going full 80% Kamara, right? But there's going to be a lot of Kamara in my lineups, 30, 40%, just because I think Jameis is going to air it out and Kamara is going to have a lot of open space. It's not the Drew Brees offense where there's 8 packed in the box.
Yeah.
You know, people are going to have to spread out, and that's where Kamara thrives. I think Alvin Kamara is going to have a huge year, and he gets to go against a putrid Falcons team.
He's another guy too, Joey. Like, gets banged up and gets nicked up a little bit. While he's healthy, going against an absolutely terrible Atlanta team, you might as well just hammer the hell out of them, right?
Yeah.
We talked about this in our pod a couple of weeks ago, right? Like, go high at running back this week. Because we're going to go on receivers here soon, and you can get real dirty down there and get some good points. And these top 6 running backs, I mean, you can just cycle through them.
What do you guys think about Mixon?
Well, I mean,
he's coming in at like one of the highest owned players on the
slate. I think that I'm like Joey just said. I'd rather pay up for Kamara, or there's a guy right below him that's getting sandwiched in between Swift and Mixon and James Conner. Where if all these wide receivers don't play,
that's who I got.
That's who I have a whole lot of interest in for $100 less than Mixon.
And Connor's coming in sub 5% right now.
Yeah. I've got him at 3.8% on the site I'm looking at.
I really like James Conner.
Me too. Mixon, he's fine. I just think that, you know, he's got a really high ceiling. I think he probably has one of the highest ceilings out of any running back this week.
Joe, you're right there?
He actually does have the highest boom rate. He's got the highest boom rate out of any running back on the slate this week. So
who's that?
Mixon does.
Yeah.
So the possibility is there, but he could also have, you know, 16 carries for 58 yards and 2 catches for 13 yards, and that's it, right? Mm-hmm. So what looks to be somewhere in the 15 to 22% owned range, I'll probably just go elsewhere. Like you said, Vinny, I really like James Conner this week, especially like if Rondale ends up being ruled out.
Totally. And right below him, I really like Aaron Jones. So that's why I'm with you. Like, I think Mixon's a totally fine play. If you want to go there, I would not judge or say anything at all. But I have no problem dipping a couple hundred less and going Connor and Aaron Jones, in my opinion.
Yep.
So I really like, if I'm going to go down low, and there's really only one person I'll play in the low end, I guess, is Nausea. And Jimmy, I know you're going to scoff at that, and you as well as you should. I'm actually really excited to see what the Steelers' offense is going to look like with Mitchell Trubisky. Mitchell Trubisky.
Fuck him.
He's got the legs. He's going to move around. It's not the statue Ben Roethlisberger standing out there. I think there's a lot of potential for dump-offs, things like that. I think that Najee is actually going to get more catches this year than he had last year. I think the offense is going to be opened up
too.
Yeah, exactly. But if that offense opens up more, and they're not throwing the ball 3 yards every single play, that's only going to open up the box for Najee. So I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with that offense. I'm going to have some Najee. I had him in some year-long ones this year. It's definitely a bet.
He's the other guy, too, like, when you start getting down here, that, you know, becomes the concern always. But, like, he's going to get 20 to 25 touches minimum on Sunday. And it's, like, really hard just to replicate that. You know what I mean? At any like, price point. So yeah, I'm with you.
He's another guy that, like, I just like other people better. So, like, for me personally, I'll have 0% Najee Harris, and it's only because I would rather play Aaron Jones or James Conner or drop all the way down to some other guys. But do you have anybody else between, like, 5,700 to 6,300 that you guys like in that kind of mid-range?
Yes, Cordell Patterson.
Ooh, yes.
And again, this is a GPP thing, right? This is not cash games. These are not sure things when you're getting down here, but they don't really have a second running back.
Yeah.
Right? They might rotate a little bit, and it's the same thing. They got a running quarterback in Mariota that can move around a little bit. They're going to do creative, weird things. Cordell Patterson can break loose.
I was on a gross take here, but I don't like that the fact his ownership is creeping up, but I was hoping to get Antonio Gibson for like 0% owned because all I've seen is people dogging on him all off season. and being that the backup is out, we think.
Well, no, he is out. He got shot in the ass.
One of them got shot.
I was making a joke.
Just make it clear. He got shot in the ass.
Doubtful for
he's
Sunday.
On IR to return.
Yeah, I mean that was the only guy because again volume, right? Like that was my only thought on it. But
Sure.
his volume, his ownership's creeping up, and I'm out if he's going to be like 10% or more. So
I feel you. Joe, I'm all over the Patterson call. I really, really like that. Vinny, do you have anybody below 5,700 who you're on?
Dude,
Eli Mitchell.
I'm going to lose a lot of money or I'm going to win a lot of the money this week with Eli Mitchell. Like, dude, he absolutely destroyed the Bears last year. They are not going to let Trey Lance throw the ball 35, 40 times on Sunday. They are going to pound them on the ground, and I'm just running with it. Like,
and Shanahan does not give a shit about his running backs getting hurt because he is the next man up mentality. So while Eli Mitchell's the starter, you play him.
He's got like 8 of them.
He practiced in full today. He is good to go at 2% ownership that he's coming in at. Like, dude, I'm going to have him in probably 70% of lineups.
I mean, I just don't get it. Like, the same thing going through like all these best ball drafts and stuff like that. Everyone talks about, well, you got to draft a bell cow. Well, you got to draft a bell cow. He was the bell cow when he was healthy last year.
Like, I get it for, best ball or whatever if you're concerned about that, but this isn't best ball. I need him week 1 to go nuts. And if he gets banged up and gets hurt, in week 2, then we won't play DFS.
The only risk factor, and I don't even think it's that big of a risk because of his price, is Trey Lance taking his touchdowns on the goal line, right?
Yeah,
that's why he's priced 5,400. It's worth it.
I just think that they're going to run the ball so much that
he can still get hits.
That at 5,400, if he only gets one touch, let's say he runs for 100 yards, gets one touchdown, and has like 3 catches. Well, dude, there you go. You're at 20 to 22 points, and that's plenty fine, right? You don't need, I don't think we're looking for the 34-point game from Eli Mitchell.
Oh, yeah. I was just playing devil's advocate with that, right? I guarantee that's why his ownership is so low, and that's why his price is so low. There is no other reason, and I'm okay playing him at 5,400, for everything you just said, Jimmy.
Yep.
Yeah, he went for 137 on 18 carries last year versus the Bears. So I will be playing him at 5,400 quite a bit.
Anybody else in here? I've got 2 guys below 5,700 that I'm playing aside from them.
Jim, I know you've dogged on me every time I bring his name up. I'm going to have a little bit of A.J. Dillon. I just don't think the Packers have any receivers they trust, and I think Aaron Jones is going to get some slot work. I think they're going to run 2 backs. Like, I think he can vulture a touchdown or 2. Like, he's going to play a lot. And he's coming in sub 5. Like, this is definitely not a I think there's a way for both guys to eat, I guess is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
I would rather play Dameon Pierce at 4,800.
I have some interest in him too. I'm just saying, like, if you're going to look down here, like, he's someone that I'm going to have in some lineups. You know what I'm saying?
Again, he's a guy that I'm going to have 0% of. And it could kill me, but, like, I can't play everybody. So he's a particular guy that I have just chosen to not play. I would rather spend up and play Aaron Jones, especially if Lazard's going to be out.
Yeah, I think it's fair to see how it's going to shake out. I'm just saying, like, that price point is very juicy. So you touched on Dameon Pierce.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get, like, again, everyone wants the bell cow, and I get he's playing Indianapolis, but they cut Marlon Mack off the team, and really the only other running back there is Sex Rex. So, like, this guy's going to – he's going to get it done with volume. Anytime they're around the goal line, he's going to be the one getting the ball. Like, he could turn into a 3-down back very, very, very quickly.
Yeah, and Lovie Smith is incredibly old school. Like, he's not going to this new football, spreading it out, throwing the ball. Like, he didn't do when he went to Illinois. He's the same coach.
I mean, they sat Dameon Pierce in the second and third.
He came out and said he's the guy. Like, he is the dude. So
he's the guy. So I mean,
if his ownership
40,
stays where it's at, I'm in on him for
well,
sure.
this is going to be the cheapest you're going to get him for the entire year.
No, I agree, but like his ownership's not creeping, which is very odd. But we'll see.
Because most people, Vinny, don't know who this guy is,
and they're going to pay up this week and just go.
Yes.
McCaffrey, Taylor.
Yeah, then the automatic reaction, it was my reaction is I'm not playing a goddamn Texas player, right? That's the immediate reaction.
Yeah.
And most people stick with that.
Yep. So that's the guy, if we're going down low, that I like.
Cool. That's as low as I'm going.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know how much lower you can get. I mean, I guess.
Yeah, all right. Well, let's move on to receivers before we start making fools of ourselves down there.
Yep. All
right. Vinny, Joe, you want to lead off the receivers? Or you want me to lead this one off?
You can take it.
All right. At the very top, I don't really like. I like all of them at the top, but a receiver this week, I'm going to go lower. Right. So these guys in the top 4, I'm not really on, but Keenan Allen is the guy I talked about earlier.
Yeah.
I think Keenan Allen has potential. He has a 12 catch floor this week. Hopefully that converts into touchdowns, but I mean, he's going to get so many targets underneath in that Raiders defense. Yeah. Raiders linebackers don't cover. They never have. I know it's a new D coordinator, but I mean,
it doesn't matter.
It's the same old thing.
Same players.
Right? Keenan Allen's going to come across the middle of the field. Abrams going to blow coverage. Keenan Allen's going to score a touchdown. It happens every single year. So Keenan Allen, if I'm going to go up, Keenan Allen's my guy.
All right. Jim, go ahead.
If I'm going up, we'll say above 7,000. I think Jamar Chase is my guy, just because of where they get him the ball. T. Higgins in that offense is more the downfield guy. Jamar is kind of like the Debo light, right? Not so much as the rushing, but they get him the ball kind of wherever around the line of scrimmage. I really don't care about the ownership on him because I have some other guys like Dalvin Cook and some other people that I'm playing that's going to offset that. So he's going to be like my chalky guy that I go ahead and just play this week, just because I like the way that, they try and get him the ball. I think that if he continues on the same arc that he ended last year, this might be the cheapest that you'll ever see him at 7,100. I think very soon he's going to be up with Justin Jefferson and Devontae Adams. And I think he's a guy where everybody said, well, can he do it again? Can he do it again with Cooper Kupp? Well, we just saw Kupp had another 12 catches, 13 catches tonight on, a 50% target share. It's not going to be that much with Jamar Chase, but 8 to 10 catches is not out of the realm of possibility. And on a full point PPR site, just load me up with that. I think he's got the highest. He's the receiver on the slate this week, I think, with the highest floor. Because if he converts 1 or 2 of those into touchdowns, then you're talking about 30, 35, maybe even 40 points. So he's a guy that I'm probably going to have in most of my lineups this week if I'm going up.
I like it. Yeah, I'm with you there on Chase. I just don't think there's anybody in Pittsburgh, let alone really in the league, that's going to hang with this guy. So if someone's going nuclear, it's going to be him. But I talked about it today a little bit when I hit on some ownership. If Deebo Samuel's going to be at sub 5%, I'm going to find a way to jam him into lineups, especially with the news that George Kittle's not going to play on Sunday.
I think
so. They are going to need him, in my opinion, on Sunday.
He's got a rushing incentive in his contract. Yeah. I think he's the only receiver in the league that has that, right? And in a game where the weather might be a little bit dicey, like you said, I don't think the Niners, they might take 1 or 2 deep shots down the field, but getting Eli Mitchell involved, getting Debo involved close to the line, the great part about DraftKings is that it's full point PPR. So he catches the ball a yard down the field. That's a full point.
And that's okay. He went for 171 yards last year versus the Bears. And he, like you said, he has rushing upside. I think you could easily pick off him and Eli Mitchell and just say the majority of the offense is going to go through these guys. I really like Ayuk, but until I see it, they're going to need to lean on these two with Kittle out.
They're not going to need. Yeah, they're not going to need Ayuk this game as much. This is not an Ayuk type game.
But I think even until you see what Lance looks like, we all think he's going to be good, but I don't know. Like it could
Well,
be.
I think this is
disaster.
the week where if you really want to like do something weird, if you're playing in like a Millie Maker or like a big tournament, and if you want to stack Lance, Debo, and Eli Mitchell together, that's a stack that no one is going to have. And combined, I think you might be less than 15% owned.
And the Bears are possibly the worst team in the league. So
They're very bad.
So you're going to get that matchup. Yeah.
Very bad.
What about mid-level? Where are we at?
Mid-level, Amon-Ra St. Brown, right?
Yeah.
Going with the theory that Detroit's going to want to run the ball. I think people are going to be very irritated with Amon-Ra St. Brown in the first half of the game, and they're going to be down, and Jared Goff's going to just be peppering him in the whole second half. And hopefully he sneaks a touchdown in there in garbage time, right? Amon St. Brown, when they're going against prevent defenses, he's going to just rally underneath, get a ton of catches, just like he did last year. It's a perfect fit. 6,100 is very low for what Amon-Ra St. Brown's upside could be.
Well, and I think Joey, I'm all over him too. He's my favorite guy in the mid-range. Wow. I think because there's so much value at wide receiver this week, people are just going to scroll right past the 6,000s, right? Yeah. If people are just going to, Amon-Ra, Marquise, Brandon Cook, I'm just going to go all the way down here. I'm going to play Michael Pittman at 5,500. I'm going to play Devonta Smith. I'm going to play Adam Thielen at 5,400. Like, people are just going to scroll down. Everyone and their mother wants to play Juju Smith-Schuster at 5,200, even though he's fucking hurt. I'm all over Amon-Ra St. Brown with you this week, Joe.
Nice. Good to have some backing.
So the other guy in that area that, again, I don't know.
Don't take my guy.
I don't know why nobody's going to play this guy.
Don't do it.
He's literally the only person on offense that they can throw the ball to, and it's Amari Cooper. He's at maybe sub 1% ownership.
I'm just not touching anything with the Browns right now.
He's the only player with the Browns that I want to have involved. He's a whiny little bitch. He wants the ball. It's why he left. I mean, is he not? Everywhere he's complained, I want the ball more. I want the ball more. I want the ball more. You know why he fucking went to Cleveland? Because there's nobody else that they can throw the ball to. And especially now that you have Jacoby Brissett back there, he's just going to lock onto the ball. He doesn't go super far downfield, which is great for Brissett. You know, it makes Donovan Peoples-Jones basically irrelevant for his down the field play. And look, they're going to have to throw the ball, and he is going to get 45 to 60% of the targets when they throw the ball. So I don't care if they're only going to throw the ball 28 times. If he gets 13 to 16 targets, like, why are we not considering playing this guy at 5,900 and at 1% ownership?
The only thing that scares me is Jacoby Brissett is just not a fantasy type quarterback. He's the king of having the 170-yard game, 1 touchdown, no interceptions.
But that's fine. If that 1 touchdown is to Amari Cooper,
if he goes a touchdown
at 1% ownership, I am more than willing to take a stab on a guy that's going to get 50+% of the target share in his team. I mean, there's nobody else at below $6,000 that's going to get over 50% target share when they're throwing the ball.
You're a bigger man than me. I will not have one Amari Cooper share in my lineup. So I wish you luck.
I might. I mean, but the nice thing is, Vinny, is that at 1% owned, I don't need to have 25% Amari Cooper to be over the field. I just need to have him in a couple of lineups, and if he hits, he hits.
No doubt.
Right?
Well, I'm going to give you another guy that's going to be probably around 5% owned. That will be my probably highest owned player of the slate. I told you I like the Chargers massively, and I will have a ton of Hunter Renfrow coming back.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And my thought is J.C. Jackson's going to miss this game, which means they're going to put Asante Samuel Jr. on Devontae. And they're going to slide everything his way, and that leaves Mr. Renfrow probably catch about 15 balls.
And Derwin James is going to be on Waller.
Yep.
So I think it is wide open for Hunter Renfrow to blow the doors off this. They are trailing. They're going to throw. He's Carr's safety blanket. Dude, he may see 15, 18 targets.
But even bigger than that, right? We got Mac and Bosa both healthy on that Chargers D-line. They're going to get rid of the ball fast. Yep. They're going to be able to go really, really fast. Hunter Renfrow
I think he's my favorite player on Sunday. So we touched on Pittman a little bit. Like, he's a good play. Like
everyone knows that he's a good play.
He's 20%
later for that.
All right,
but we want to stay in that range. It's Adam Thielen. I don't know what his ownership is like, but Adam Thielen at 5,400. Oh, that's fine. At 5,400, I mean, he's an absolute steal.
Yeah,
we went over the Vikings earlier. Their offense is going to go. Everyone's on Justin Jefferson. He's going to be 20% owned plus. Adam Thielen's going to go 12%, and I think Adam Thielen has a chance to have 2 touchdowns, right? Kirk Cousins loves Thielen in the red zone. Mm-hmm. Thielen's healthy this year. He played hurt half the season last year, right, with that ankle injury. So Thielen's fully healthy. I think it's going to be a big Thielen week, and people are going to be slapping themselves going, why did I forget about this guy?
If we're dropping down a little bit, I'll have some Juju. We talked about him. A guy I like, though, is part of my Saints kind of theory is Jarvis Landry. I think he's a guy who just produces quietly. Michael Thomas, I kind of hope he doesn't play, but who knows what's going on with him. I mean, I'll have some Michael Thomas if he plays, but I think Jarvis Landry is going to prove to be the most consistent target receiver in that offense. So I think at 5K and 2% ownership, I think he's a pretty damn good play there.
Yep. I've got 2 guys priced at 4,700. That one's coming in at 0% ownership, and the other one is coming in at just over 3% owned. One's Sammy Watkins. This is a guy that, just like some of these other guys, that is perpetually nicked up, always hurt. Lazard looks like he's going to miss this game. Aaron Rodgers wants to play with veterans. Sammy Watkins has had a great camp. There's been nothing but good things said about him. I mean,
I like it.
I don't understand why his projection is 7 to 8 points in a game where Green Bay is going to have to throw the ball, and
there's no one else.
There's literally no one else.
I'm not playing Randall Cobb.
No, I can't do it. I will take a shot at Sammy Watkins because I like him quite a bit. And then I already talked about him earlier a little bit. I won't belabor the point too much. But Marquez Valdez-Scantling is the guy who he's the highest paid wide receiver on that team. I don't think that people realize that.
Yeah.
He's the downfield guy. And he has, done a great job. And we saw those spike games in Green Bay, right? But he was competing for targets with Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, the concern about Kelsey obviously is there, but that's why I'm playing him in the stack with Kelsey and with Mahomes. I don't think Marquez Valdez-Scantling is a guy I'm just playing by himself. But I absolutely love him, and I'm going to have multiple of those stacks this week.
Okay. Joe, anyone down low?
Yes. So Marvin Jones Jr. at 4,400. So Marvin Jones Jr. is their clear number 1. Trevor Lawrence has a rapport with Marvin Jones. They actually did pretty well together last year, considering the situation that they were under.
Yes,
even in the preseason games this year, I think Trevor Lawrence completed 7 passes to Marvin Jones, went 7 for 7 in 2 games.
Sure.
They got rid of Chenault, right? The Jaguars are overhauling, and I think Marvin Jones is just their clear number 1. And at 4,400, you can't ignore that with a team that's probably going to be down. And again, I'm not going to bet on them to win, but I'll definitely bet on Marvin Jones Jr. to get 7, 8 plus catches in this game, and potentially a touchdown. And at 4,400, sign me up.
Is there any real shit bombs you're looking at, Vinny?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll go because Joey's obviously got multiple down here.
No, I got one.
The only guy I like is at 3,800, and it's Josh Palmer. He's the only guy I feel good about. He's the third receiver in that Chargers offense. Again, I'm all in on the Chargers this week. So, if he catches one bomb at 3,800, we're in business. So,
all right.
Joe?
Alec Pierce for the Colts.
So
he's our really freakish athletic dude that played on Cincinnati last year. Yep. He's had a great camp, and he's solidified himself as the number 2 receiver behind Pittman there. Alec Pierce is going to be their red zone target if they're not running the ball. Now, this isn't a guy I expect to blow up, but he's probably going to go 1% owned or less. He's a starting receiver. We don't know what Matt Ryan and that offense is going to look like over there. Alec Pierce can get us 2 touchdowns on 3 catches, right? So he's going to be on the field a lot, and he's going against the Texans. There's just too much upside here, and who knows? We can get this guy really early while he's really cheap.
I like that. I don't really have any love for anyone way the hell down here.
No, I mean, if you want to play some Jahan Dotson, he's the number 2 in Washington.
No, I'll just pass.
I think there's too many guys personally. I see a lot of people going to Wan'Dale Robinson and Kadarius Toney. They have like 8 receivers that can all catch balls there.
I mean, Kadarius Toney.
That's how I feel about the Giants already.
Kadarius Toney is the one guy where if he is healthy and on the field,
he should be.
I'll play him.
But he's creeping up to like 15, 17% in ownership, and I'm just not going to do that for anybody on the Giants.
But he's also, to play devil's advocate on that, he might be that one guy this week, Vinny, that's a free square that like
could be.
They're just going to get – you could play him by himself. He's going to get quite a bit of targets. He's going to get that close to the line work that Daboll loves.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think my guy, if I'm going to go down there, I think it's going to be George Pickens at 4,100. He's a guy, especially if he's the legitimate – on the depth chart, if you go look at it, he's the number 2 wide receiver, like Joey just said. If Deontay Johnson misses, George Pickens is an absolute freak athlete who has a massive catch radius, who can play downfield. He can catch balls close to the line. I'm on the fence. If Deontay Johnson doesn't play, I might have like 35% George Pickens this week. So he's my guy down there that, especially if Deontay doesn't play, I'm going to be all over him.
Great play. We ready to move on to tight ends?
Yes.
All right. I'll let you guys take over those expensive dudes.
I mean, for me, it's just Kelsey is my only guy. I do have some – I mean, if we're talking expensive, I have a lot of interest in playing Kyle Pitts, especially my comeback to my New Orleans stacks. He's going to get 30 to 45% of the target share. He's not an inline tight end. He might – line up with his hand in the dirt, 4 to 6 snaps a game. But him and Kelsey are my 2 guys if I'm paying up.
Yeah, and I'm just going to jam Andrews or Kelsey into as many lineups as I can.
Fair enough.
I think they're just both the focal point of their offense. They're in great spots.
I don't know why Andrews isn't higher owned. I'm showing him at 6 to 10%.
Totally. And so I think how I'm going to probably play it is Kelsey will be in some of my, little bit more contrarian lineups. And then some of my chalkier lineups, I'm going Andrews. And I'm just going to – I'm almost going to start my lineup with one of those 2 guys probably.
Okay. Is there anybody down low, Joe, that you're looking at?
Yeah, there's someone I'm really interested in down low, and it's David Njoku, 3,900 for the Browns. And the reasoning is – Jacoby Brissett's at quarterback, and like you made a point earlier, there's no one else to throw to.
Yep.
Njoku, and there's no more Austin Hooper.
Yep.
Right. So Njoku's the guy. So he's going to be the starter there. He's going to get his targets. He is still a freak athlete. I mean, he's still 26 years old, which is kind of wild. I feel like he's in like his 10th year of being a rotational tight end. But Njoku is interesting. So I'm definitely going to have some Njoku going on and some lineups there for that price.
A guy for $200 less that I'm going to go out of my way to get in quite a few lineups is the aforementioned Austin Hooper. I know he's got Ferkser, hardly newer in the on the team, but look, Austin Hooper, we kind of forget about. He's actually a really good wide receiver. He was just on a team with like 18 wide receivers last year, right? He was there. He's got. I mean, even Harrison Bryant's still there, him and Njoku. Now he is going to be the pass-catching option, and especially until Treylon Burks kind of gets up and along. When they get down near the goal line, he is going to be the goal line option for them. And at $3,700 in a game that I think is going to be a little bit more high-scoring than we think it is, I don't think Tennessee's defense is very good. We know the Giants' defense is not very good. If they're going to sell out, like I think that they are, to stop Derrick Henry, somebody is going to have to try and produce. And I think Austin Hooper has one of those games where he has 14 to 18 points and maybe has, not a ton of yards, but I think 6 catches for 55 yards and 2 touchdowns is certainly in the realm of possibility for him.
Yeah. I mean, it goes without saying we're the official podcast of Irv Smith Jr.
We
He'll
are.
make quite a bit of lineups for me.
are.
The only other guy, we talked about him a little bit. If he's going to play, I'll have a little bit of Bob Tonyan in there just because it's who Aaron trusts. But
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah. If he's on the field, I think we got to try and play him.
I'm gonna have a lot of Tonyan. If he's a go, I'm
Yeah.
playing him because if they're playing him, he's healthy and he's ready to go. There's no doubt about it. So if Tanyan's in, I'm playing a lot of Tonyan. The other person, Jimmy, I might be stealing one from you here in the future, but Brevin Jordan, right?
Yeah,
3,100. What's his ownership looking like? Is that what's scaring you?
No, I mean, there's just only so many guys that I can play. His ownership is 3 to 4%. I'm kind of on the train that you are, Joey, that they're going to try and run the ball a little bit more. If I run into a situation where I need to drop down and I need to save a couple extra $100, he's the only guy within any sort of realm in here, unless Zach Ertz misses, and then I do have quite a bit of interest in Trey McBride. But we'll if I think Ertz is probably going to play, he's just an older guy who just doesn't practice a lot and is always going to be on the injury report. So
that's a really good call on Trey McBride. If he starts, he's a really interesting play. The dude is a stud.
If Ertz is out, I'm going to have a lot of Trey McBride and just kind of maybe go past everybody.
2,900. I mean,
it's just, again, it's like a free square. So you play Trey McBride if he's starting and Kadarius Toney at 4,100. Two guys are going to garner quite a bit of target share, and you can do really whatever the hell else you want with your lineup.
Yep.
So that's it for me.
Defense.
Yeah. Defense.
Right. Okay, so we're going are we going all the way to the bottom, or
we're going bottom up on defense. We can reverse it here.
All right, yeah, let's do it. All right, Joe, we'll give you the honors since you're wearing that shield on your hat.
So if I'm going to go way down there and I'm just trying to get a cheap team, I like the Jets.
Yeah.
I like the Jets defense in general. They got a lot of talent. I like Robert Saleh. I mean, Lamar Jackson, we didn't really talk about him much at all in this podcast so far. He's going into that contract year. Is he going to be running the ball and putting his body on the line without that guaranteed money? Like what? Or is he going to play harder and show them what he is? Like, we don't know what Lamar we're really going to get here. The Jets have been game planning for Lamar for weeks now. I think Saleh is a great coach, and they're going to make some plays and give Lamar some headaches. I mean, there's no receivers. Their running backs is just this mosh posh of average people and injured players. If I'm going all the way down, it's the Jets for me.
All right.
Damn, Joe, you stole my fucking team. I like them
Yes.
too. I mean, the Lamar turns the ball over constantly. I mean, even when he runs the ball, he fumbles, he throws bad interceptions. I mean, he throws a lot of pick sixes. So I mean, the Jets are mine. If the most expensive defense that I'm going to play this week is going to be the Miami Dolphins at 2,600. I mean, nothing about the New England offense scares me at all.
Patricia and Judge.
Yeah.
That's all we have to say.
You've got the fucking rocket scientist and the
fat rocket scientist
fucking running the offense with Mac Jones, who's as vanilla as the fucking ice cream that I bought my kids earlier today, and they didn't do anything. Yeah, they added Devontae Parker. Okay. They have no dynamic tight ends. They have no really other dynamic players. I think Ramondre Stevenson might be their most dynamic player, and he's a running back that is going to get, 30% of the carries or 30% of the snaps. Miami, I think is a good team. And that's just one of those where I don't know if Miami can get you 20 points as a defense, but I don't think that they'll get you any less than like 6 or 7.
All right.
No,
my down low, bottom of the barrel, I'm rolling with the Jaguars, and I will play any team that's facing Carson Wentz.
Not a bad call.
There is a built-in 2 turnover minimum with the Jags on Sunday. Hopefully they don't get shredded other than that, but Carson's going to turn the ball over for sure. I'll just rally through the teams I have interest in. I like the
I was
Dolphins
gonna,
as well.
I was gonna go the opposite there, Vinny. The Washington Click Commanders.
No, I think the Jaguars beat them, man.
No. I'm just saying. I think the Washington Click Commanders defense is. I think their defense is like they were all touted last year, right? And they did not perform to everyone's expectations. They're bringing everyone back, right? They're going to have that chemistry. I think their defense is actually going to play up to expectations this year and be a top 5 defense. Not saying that Carson Wentz is going to help in any way, but I just think they're going to get sacks, pressures, interceptions against a Jaguars team that they're cleaning the slate. They're starting brand new. We don't know what we're going to get out of them either.
But here's my problem: the Commanders aren't even going to have Chase Young on Sunday. He's not playing their best player. So
but their best D lineman is Allen.
Okay, but Chase Young is still their best pass rusher. Like,
yeah, Joey. I mean, come on, man.
I'm not whatever. I mean, whatever. We're down low. You can play them. Like Jaguars are not freaking Bills here.
I just think for $100 more, I think the Jags are someone who could maybe in the territory of getting you negative points. I think it's going to be next to impossible for the Miami Dolphins to get you anything less than 5.
We'll see. It's Washington. We don't know. This game could be weird. Who knows? I have a little bit of interest in the Eagles. I just think they're going to dominate the Detroit in the trenches.
Yeah, too much money.
Lions don't really scare me. If I can find it, I will have a team absolutely to play the Ravens against Joe Flacco. If I can find it, I'm going to get them into one lineup for sure.
You cannot play defenses against elite running backs. You just can't do it.
Who's the elite running back for the Jets?
Or I'm sorry, the elite quarterback.
Oh, okay. I was like, what am I missing here? Revenge narrative. Flacco probably throws.
Flacco is elite. There's no bones about that.
All right.
He's so fucking bad.
Bold calls. Joe, you're leading off here. MCing it. Hit it.
Damn, I already did it. I got excited. It was Alec Pierce. I think Alec Pierce gets 2 touchdowns in the game on Sunday.
Ooh!
Oh, 2.
Yeah, I think Alec Pierce, dude, he's going to show out. People forgot all about him.
Dang. All right,
so,
Jim?
I don't know. I've got 2 that I could do. But, one.
Fire 2. I got 2 as well.
I might as well just do the one since I'm wearing all the Niners gear. Vinny's a Niners fan, but apparently it's too chicken shit to wear the gear. Same with Joey. I feel like I'm the only one who wears my team I like's gear. Joey
reps the league.
This is my fucking team.
She reps the shield, dude.
So you're not a Raiders fan anymore?
Oh, I am. But most of the time, I just become an NFL fan.
Anyway.
Rep the shield, baby.
I'll say that the Trey Lance, Eli Mitchell, Deebo Samuel stack will be in the top 3 scoring stacks of the week and will help somebody win 5 to 6 figures this week.
Dang.
And it might be me because I'm going to play a shitload of it.
All right.
I'll go down with the ship. It's fine.
I'm down with that. That's cool.
I think there's legitimate reasons behind it, though.
Yeah. All right. I will throw out, I think, semi-bold. I think Chargers hang a 40-burger on Sunday. I don't know what that means for the other side of the game. I think they go over 40. I think Herbert's the highest scoring quarterback on
So you're betting the over in that game.
Absolutely. And then probably a bolder call, I guess. Well, semi, but with ownership, this is where I'm doing. I don't even care if he plays, even better. I'm fading Rondale Moore and Saquon Barkley on Sunday. I'm just not touching that ownership for 2 guys in poor matchups, and I'm just not doing it. Rondale Moore's only speed, and the guy has an MRI in his hamstring that he hurt 2 weeks ago. Like,
well, that's not really a hot take anymore. If he was completely healthy,
well, I was fading it before. I have it on my. I don't even have him in my.
Saquon's a hot take.
I'm not playing.
Saquon's a hot take. I'm playing a lot of Saquon.
Not doing it.
And again, my 2 big, or I guess my big fade is going to be Derrick Henry. I'm going to have 0 lineups of Derrick Henry.
Joe, anyone super popular that you're fading?
Who's super popular? No,
never mind.
I haven't seen the ownership.
Here, I'll give you the ownership real quick here, Joe. Rondale is the projected highest owned player. Saquon Barkley, 19%. Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman, Marquise Brown, DeAndre Swift, Christian McCaffrey, Travis Kelce, and Joe Mixon round out your top 10.
Well, I am fading Pittman because I'm all on Alec Pierce.
Okay. That makes sense.
I love that.
There you go. So
I love
Joey's fading the fantasy darling of the offseason in Michael Pittman.
Dude.
And all in on Alec Pierce, who maybe 4% of people have heard of. I love it.
You're either going to make a lot of money on that, hopefully, or you're going to be dead pretty early.
I might play Alec Pierce. I might play Alec Pierce.
Is all over Alec Pierce.
I might play Alec Pierce in my Niners stack. Let's just go real fucking weird.
Get it all.
Oh yeah,
love it. All right, I think that pretty much does it, huh?
All right, everyone.
I think it does.
Thanks for listening in. And good luck on Sunday. Make sure if you win, make sure you tag us on Twitter. It's on the bottom of the feed here, but it is JJ McIntosh, Vinnie Levine 29, DFS Joey Levine, our 3 Twitter handles. So make sure you post and our Red Zone DFS account, post your winnings and share and gloat. All right, guys, good luck.